to. And so I had a free few minutes and I thought I would chime in with the question is. So I'm going to answer 2 questions in this one video because I feel like they go together. So if you're chiming in, let me know where you're chiming in from. And I am going to read this question from my computer, if I can see it, because I can't really see. So let me see. It says, there's 2 questions I'm going to answer because, again, they kind of go together for me. They may not go together for anybody else, but they do go together for me. Oh, hey, ma'am. Good to see you from South Carolina. We just left Myrtle Beach earlier today. It says you mentioned in the past that you may not be living in that house forever. What are your plans in the future if you decide to move? What state would you live in? And would you have a house, an apartment, a tiny home? What are your future dreams and goals? Thank you for answering my question. So that was one. Hey, Kim. Hey, everybody. Hey, from Oklahoma. And then the other question that I feel like kind of goes with that is, what would you say are the most important qualities to look for in a spouse? So the reason I'm putting those 2 questions together are very simple. There are 2 scenarios here that would work for me. If the Lord would allow me to marry again. Hey, ma'am, good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for these. The question is, so if the Lord allows me to meet someone and we join our lives together, I know very specific things about my husband, although I don't know who my husband is, right? So I say, if the Lord, I believe that God has marriage for me. I am so excited about that, even though I am a little bit like, when is it going to happen? You know, I'm just excited. I know my husband and I will work in ministry together. That is not a question that I have to think about. God has already told me my husband would be doing this, I would be doing that. And when we came together, it would be something different, but it would be ministry. He also told me when my husband comes that I am not to take anything out of my house. Nothing. He said, Shakema, unless he tells you to take something from your home, leave it there. He said, open up your home to anybody in your area and tell them to come and take what they want. There is nothing I'm supposed to take when I leave this place except my clothing. And he said, only take your clothing if your husband wants you to. He said he's already going to have everything you need wherever it is that you're going. I know that I'm going to go from this house to my husband's house. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to give up my home and move into his home, especially if he has children and I have children, and being still at home, then we may need to have to purchase a new home that is our home together. How God sets things up is when I bought my home 6 years ago, I was at the very top of my budget. I could not borrow in another dime more. Because the housing market has been the way it is for the last 6 years, and definitely within the last 2 to 3 years, I will probably be able to double what I paid for this home. So I'll have something that I can bring to the table to help purchase our together home. Now, that's if the Lord would allow me to remarry again. That's if there is a husband for me and there is another marriage for me. If there is no marriage, if it's just me, my plan is to sell this house because I am getting older and my children have gone off. Shamika lives in California. Trandon is in the Midwest. Alana is here, but she will eventually leave home. And Jackson already is planning college. My children have been raised to live here and move. They're not going to come here and stay. So my plan, if I do not couple and we have a home, although I feel that in my spirit, because as I get older and I am the patriarch of my family. My grandmother has passed away. My mother has passed away. So that means in the line of family, I represent my mother's family. I am the top woman, and I have no siblings. My mother didn't have any other children. So I am the matriarch of my mother's part of the family. And as I grow older, I feel like there is a home. There is a home for there is a home for grandchildren that will come down the line after some marriages happen. There is my potential husband's his kids that will be there. And I don't want anybody to feel that I have come to replace or displace. I just want to come and be able to enhance what is happening. So I do feel like there's another home for us. However, if that doesn't happen and it goes a different way, my plan is to sell this house. My oldest daughter wants to buy it from me, and I told her I would only sell it to her if my husband allows me to sell it to her, which she did not love that because she thinks I'm a follower, like your husband can't tell you what to do. My husband can tell me what to do. I am not free to make decisions when I have a husband. I'm going to discuss, and that's how it's going to work out for my family. But if that doesn't happen, I'm going to sell this home to whomever wants to buy it. And I plan to live in a townhouse for a couple of reasons. I don't want to have yard work. I don't want to have to pay Mr. Jerome to come and cut the yard. I don't need a big backyard for the kids to run around in. They'll all be grown. They will not live at home. So I think a 2 to 3 bedroom townhouse would be perfect because I plan to travel minister. I want to travel and do ministry. I don't want to worry about the yard. I want to be close enough to people that somebody's keeping an eye on my house just in case. We do plan to have security system. But I don't want to have to worry about the maintenance and the upkeep of a home. If for some reason or when we do holidays, as my children have children and get married and do all that type of thing, I'm either going to travel to them because they should have homes of their own, or they're going to rent hotel rooms for the time that we're together, and they'll come together for the main meal or the main event or the main whatever, and then go back to their places to sleep. So I'm not being concerned with I need 5 and 6 bedrooms for all these people that are coming to my house. I'm not worried about that. The other question is, where do you see yourself living? So I didn't put down roots for a very long time because I was afraid that if I put down roots, that meant I could never move. Well, the Lord told me years and years ago, before I even came to where I live now, that I would be sent out. I would be sent out from my place. So I don't have I want to move here or I want to move there. I'm going to be wherever God wants me to go. And I'll sell my house tomorrow if he told me to go somewhere different than where I am today. So that's the relationship that I have with the Lord. It just really helps me to be able to know that he has something for me and that I can hear him well enough to know when it is time to move. I mean, for you to say to someone, hey, anybody come over and take anything out of my house, you have to know you heard from the Lord. But why would God want me to incur thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in moving expenses to move my stuff, right? Should not the stuff be already prepared for me where I am going? He is provided here, he will provide there. And I just have to understand that and believe that. My children are spread all out across the country. So it really doesn't matter where I go. We're all going to have to get on a plane to go see each other. So it does not matter. Alana will probably be home the longest. Sister just loves mom and she wants to make sure mom is okay. And I think that's another reason why I do pray for a spouse. I don't want sister to live her life trying to take care of me. I'm going to be fine. Jackson can't wait to move. He already picked his college. He got his major together. But sister will be the one that will probably be with me the longest just because her care and concern for me. She is me in a little body. That's just how it is. Or me at my younger age. Just always care and concern about everybody. Like, let me take care of mom. And I want her to live her life, not take care of mom. So I don't have a place picked out. I'll go wherever God tells me to go and do whatever he tells me to do. Which brings me back to what qualities are you looking for in a spouse? So this is important. And if you would, please, it does help us to get our videos out in the algorithm. If you would like the video, that's just helpful. Share it if you feel like you have a friend or a family member that might benefit from it. It's always very helpful. But if you are looking for a spouse. I can't say to you what's the most important quality to look for. Only you know what you're trying to be coupled with. But I can say this. The Bible tells us in Amos 3:3, how can two walk together lest they agree? If you don't agree, then there is no way that you should marry that person. Agree with what, Shakema? Their spirituality, whether they have it or not. If you are saved and they are not, can I promise you that will never work? It might work for a while. You might have some good horizontal situation where y'all kind of doing the tango and that's great, but it's never going to work. Hey ma'am, how are you? It's never going to work long term if you do not agree on your religion. Let me just say it plain. I don't want to say spirituality, but if you don't agree on your faith, let me say that. If your faith is not in agreement, a Muslim and a Christian will never agree. Somebody is always going to either leave to go the other way. Either the Christian is going to become a Muslim or the Muslim's going to become Christian, or we're going to go our separate ways. Well, we're going to let our children choose. You can't let your children choose. You are the parent. You choose for your children until they're old enough to choose. So what happens? You just don't choose anything? Nope, that's not what we're doing. So I have to agree on my faith, right? That's one important quality. The other thing is finance. Finance will keep a marriage struggling, suffering, and almost dead, right? Here's the thing. Hey, ma'am, how are you? If your money is working out real well, and somebody else comes and they have attached themselves to your money, and now your money is funny, that's the issue. If they don't manage, budget, whatever it is that you do, and you're having to bring so much more to the table because they won't do their end of the deal or more, you're going to have issues. So how do you spend your money? How do you make your money? Because if you don't make your money in legal means, I'm not coming to the penitentiary to see you and put nothing on your books. You better make sure that this is all legal and above board. What you doing? A lot of people into fast, quick money, and social media right now is so big. Everybody wants to be in social media. Well, listen, I work a job and I'm in social media. So I'm going to need you to have social media as your part-time, but I'm going to need a full-time income coming in this house. So again, if you can't agree on how you make it, when it's coming in, how much you spending here and there, half may not be enough. We might need 2/3 of mine and 2/3 of yours, or 3/4 of yours. Are we going to have different accounts? How are we going to manage the accounts? Who's going to manage the money? Qualities I'm looking for is proper money management. If you don't have that, then I don't know that I can necessarily put my money together with yours. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't learn. People can learn, right? So I'm not just, casting people away and be like, oh no, I'm not going to get with him because he's a poor money manager. It may take you teaching, right? And during the dating courtship, he sees what you do. He's like, oh, okay, can you help me? Yeah, let me help you. Don't throw him out because he doesn't do it now, especially if he comes to you and asks for help. So that's another thing that I'm looking at as far as spousal. A third thing for me, that's a non-negotiable. We are not negotiating this. If he has children and he does not take care of his children, it's a no. It's a no for me. I cannot fully expect for a man to come over here and take care of my children because I expect that. I expect for him to roll up in here and treat these children just like they came out of his loins. Yes, I do. Well, Shakema, they not his kids. I get that. But I fully expect him to come over. If you want me, you getting us. It's not just a me. We are in us. So you have to decide to pick us. I've always known this. I've always known this. And I've said this. I've not hid this from anybody that I have dated. They're going to have to pick me because I have kids. They're going to have to decide Shakema is worth it and her kids, because I don't come alone. I come with children. Now, I do come with 3 grown children and 1 not so grown but growing child, right? So at least they're going to get a mom that doesn't have all the kids in the same house. Now, I'm not saying my kids would have been too much, but for a lot of people, that is a lot. Praise God that my kids are grown. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that God allowed it to happen this way. Would I have chosen it? No. But still, my kids are off, living their life, doing that, doing what it is. I'm telling you right now, it's very serious. It's very serious. So if they don't take care of their children, I cannot link my life with you, because you're going to bring in drama from the start. You're going to bring in a baby mama, ex-wife, whoever, that's mad at me because he over there taking care of your kids and he don't take care of my kids. Wait a minute. I'm not involved in that. And I can't, in good faith, being a woman, condone him not taking care of his children. I got questions. Is your child support up to date? Do you see them? Do you go there? I need you to go. I need you to go pick them up. I need you to take them somewhere and do stuff. I'm that individual. And a lot of men they don't want that accountability in a partner. I want to know, are you and your ex-wife amicable? Have y'all worked out your grievances? Do y'all co-parent in a healthy relationship? I'm not talking about we trying to get back together, but we have these children. And so I need to know that you have good communication skills. I need to know that you are a good manager of your time, that you can fit him in, your kids, me, your work, and you're not too tired for everything. So I expect proper time management. I expect proper resource management. I expect good communication skills. That's something that for me, that's important. When I was married the first time, we never talked about anything important. Never. And I would always say, can we discuss it? Yeah, we talk about it. 12 years later, we still haven't talked about it. I need to talk about it. I'm a talk about it person. So I need a person that's heavy in communication. And I don't mean just listening. I need you to participate with me. Then that doesn't mean, right? The Bible says it's better to live on the rooftop than with a nagging woman. I don't plan to be a nagging woman. But you don't nag when you have done the upfront work to make sure that you are in agreement on a lot of things. I'm looking for, in a spouse, on a more personal, physical level, a person who is interested in a personal, physical relationship. That wasn't the case in my first marriage. That they had very little interest. And I have lots of interest because of that very situation, because of the lack of interest then. My interest is very interested now, so I need to know that they're on the same page with me. I'm older, but I ain't dead, so I'm trying to be physical. And if they're not, then perhaps, and I think that's another reason why I don't want to date an extremely older man, because that older man is going to be dealing with some health issues that could affect the physical that I desire. And I don't want that. I know it's age and all of that, and I'm not, faulting anyone for that, because I've got my own age appropriate issues. But I don't want to date somebody 15, 20 years older than me, because we already going to have issues. I'm 46, 20 years older, 66. That's not what I'm desiring. Commonalities, I think someone put in there about spiritual, but also having common interests. I need to have common interests with you. It doesn't mean we have to like everything together, but I do need to have some common interests. I have a really good friend. He is a ballroom dancer. And as much as I love to go with him to some of the dance things, because I just like to watch people, I have no desire to ballroom dance at all. He loves it. He loves it. He does competitions. He goes to this place. He goes out of the country to compete. I would be a bad, poor person to support that, because I don't love it. For me, ministry is important. For me, people are important. For me, my family is huge. I need a family person. I need someone who always wants to be around family, because I'm trying to host Friendsgiving. We got the Christmas breakfast coming up. We got this, we got that. I want my house open to people. I don't need a person who doesn't like people. If you don't like people and I love people, we're going to clash again. And it's going to be, well, why you always got to have people in the house? Well, why you don't never want nobody in the house? Now we got issues. So that's not something that I desire. I desire someone who wants to, I'm not saying I have to have somebody in the house all the time, but I do do like Friendsgiving and I do like the Christmas breakfast or the brunch, whichever one. Those are 2 times a year when I love, love, love to have people in my home. Can we agree to that? So you have to know where there is agreement. Again, how can 2 walk together lest they agree? He's like, okay, babe, but I don't want somebody in every month. Perfectly fine. But those 2 months, or we sit down and we talk about it. And a lot of this is being discussed in the dating process. I used to think that, and I still think this, so y'all don't come for me in the comments. I used to think that you could only date one person at a time. I still think you should only date one person. I think I should date one person at a time. However, I always felt like if I were dating multiple people, I was cheating on somebody. But dating, as I am learning more, is just for data. I'm gaining information from you. And that information is going to tell me whether I want to move further, closer to you, or further away from you. So the thought of dating multiple people now is not as bad to me as it was in the past. Do I desire to do that? I don't. One person is really all I can handle. However, I'm not getting attached to anybody while I'm gaining data. I need to know, are you going to be consistent in our phone calls? Are you going to be consistent in coming to? I'm interested in dating. If you are not interested in dating me, then we don't agree, because I want to date. I want to go out. I want to do stuff. I don't want to spend a lot of, I'm not saying I want to spend a lot of money. We don't have to spend a lot of money. I live in a place where we can just go 20 minutes over the road and get out the car and walk around and see stuff. I just want to walk. I want to talk. I want to hold hands. I want to, get close to each other and really see, do we want to, go further with a family situation? But if that's not what you want to do, then we are wasting time. And I'm at a point in my life at 46, I'll be 47 in February, that I don't have time to waste. Less than 60 days, I'll be 47. I don't have time to waste with anybody at all. Thank you so much. This is just me. This is my heart. So again, the question is, what would you say are the most important qualities in a spouse? It's what's important to you. It's not what's important to me, because I don't have to marry you. But you better know what you need and what you want and what you desire, so that when you are dating for data, right, that person knows what they're getting. It doesn't mean that you have to be harsh. Well, I need this and I need 6 figures, and that's not what, right? We want to make it fun and exciting, and I'm pretty shy around men. I know that doesn't seem like my personality. I'm not shy around women at all, but I'm pretty shy around men. I've not been around a lot of them in positive situations in my life, so I tend to be a little bit more shy. But as I have grown, and as I've gone through an unsuccessful marriage, and as I have gone through meeting people and it hasn't been successful either, I'm at a different point in my life. I know what I want. I know what I desire. I know what I'm willing to put up with and not put up with. Spirituality for me, faith for me is number one, key, number one. Happy New Year. It's number one. My heart is for Jesus. If your heart is not for Jesus, then there is nothing that we can agree on. Nothing. Because when I want to give and you're like, no, we don't have it to give, we always have to give, because God is going to give. He says, give and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall he cause men to give unto your bosom. Now, don't tell me I cannot give. I just need you to say how many zeros. How many zeros do you want to put on this check, babe? See, that's the kind of person I'm looking for. I'm looking for a person that when I say, when I wake up at 4 a.m. to pray because God has woken me, they up at 3:59 shaking me. Didn't you hear the Lord say, get up? Yes, I did. I'm up, right? But that's for me. That may not be true for everybody. At one point, I wanted a man that didn't have any children. And it wasn't because I didn't want to love his children. That had nothing to do with it. My children have missed having a dad. And I didn't want his attention to be divided between my kids and his kids. And the Lord came to me and he said, that's very selfish, don't you think? And I said, oh, Lord, I'm sorry, because it is. At this stage of the game, there are very few people that don't have children. There are some, but very few of us who don't have children. How dare I say You don't have no kids, but I want him to come over here and be Daddy Warbucks to my kids. Wrong, wrong, wrong. So again, are you willing to deal with somebody else's kids? I've got a standard. I'm not willing to deal with 2-year-olds. Listen to my heart here. Listen to my heart. I have been a mama since I was 14 years old. I've been somebody's mama longer than I have not been somebody's mama. I'm not changing diapers. I'm not potty training. I'm not doing any of that. That's not my desire. Now, the only caveat to that is if a spouse passed away suddenly, terminal illness, and they had children later in life, and that spouse passed away, there's nothing that a man can do about that. Right? He did not intend to be a single parent to a 2-year-old because his wife passed and they had kids late. I can work around that. But if you just out here flinging and slinging and you got 2-year-olds, that's on you, boo. That is not my desire. My baby is 13 and I want to live some of my life. So that's not selfish on my part. That's a preference. I want to live some of my life for myself. I want to get up, I want to get dressed, and I want to go when I want to go and not have to worry about the diaper bag, the car seat, and the bottles. Now, some of y'all are much younger than I am. If that's your preference, live your best life. I have given my uterus away because I didn't want any more children. Praise the Lord. Okay. What are some other things? Family. Look at their family. You know, how do they interact with their family? If they're not family, my kids and I just came back off from vacation. We had been on vacation for a couple of days. And we had the best time. The best time. Family's important. My kids get real territorial about their family time. Don't come over here trying to mess up family time, because my daughter was like, Mom, they just need to know we gonna have family time. That's Shamika. You know, Shamika's always about, Mom, they gonna have to know. Of course, that's important to us. And if family is not important to them, then anytime you're trying to do a family thing, they're going to buck against it. So you have to know exactly what you're willing to do. I've worked hard to get myself to a financial stable position. Could I quit my job today? No, ma'am, indeed. But in 5 years, when I get ready to retire, I'm going to be doing something else, because that's what this work in the social media is for now, so that in the 5 years, we will have done enough so that if we want to retire at 30 years, we can. We good. But, you know, we gonna stop working now. We gonna take an RV and go across the world and do stuff. I don't know that the Lord told me that. I've not heard that direction. So again, it's always about the spiritual for me. And then wherever God wants us to be is where we'll be, serving whoever he wants us to serve. So I'm not stuck in one place. Most people are. I don't have family here that's outside of my church family. And I have my sister, but she already know if God tell me to go, holla at me later, homie. I gotta go. You know, that's me. So those are a couple things that I just think are important. You have to be willing to, you know, you got to be willing to do some digging. If they have a suspectical background, right? You may want to dig a little deeper and see what that is. There's a girl I follow on Instagram. Her name is Jennifer Spears. And she met her now husband on Christian Mingle. I've done Christian Mingle in the past. I have not done dating websites in quite a long time, just because it's too much out here going on. But she had met her husband on Christian Mingle. She felt like the Lord had told her to go on there. But when she met her husband, he actually was an ex-convict. He had I think he had a drug charge for selling some, you know, things he should have been selling. And she said, you know, God made her okay with that. God made her okay with what he had done, because it's not what he was currently doing. And she said she knew through the power of the Holy Spirit that all was going to be well, right? They did it right. They didn't have any physical stuff happening. And she worked with that man. She worked with that man. And if you go look on her Instagram right now, they just bought a huge I don't even know how many thousands of square feet house that is. They have flipped a couple properties. He does most of the work. He has a crew. He's got a construction situation. Total 360-degree turn, a 180 turn from what he was. He just got into a bad situation way back, and she was able to see beyond that. Some people are going to be able to see beyond that. Could I see beyond that? I think I could, depending on what it is. We all have our past. I mean, a man's going to have to look at everything in my past and say, oh, no, pregnant at 13, a mom at 14, I don't really know, abused by this many people in your family. Oh, my God. Do they want to deal with all of that drama? So I can't say for sure, but I would like someone to be open to hear me out, right? To hear out what I have to say about my past and then make an informed decision. I don't have secrets. I'm not looking for somebody trying to keep secrets from me. I'm not telling you you have to tell me everything about your past, because your past is your past. But if it's something that's going to directly affect me or my children or your children, and I'm affected by your children, then I'm going to need to know. I'm going to need to know that. So I will know how to be able to defend you. So I will be able to know how to have your back, right? You got to be forthcoming with information. I can't be your biggest cheerleader and champion if you don't tell me what's going on. Don't blindside me with stuff. Just tell me and let me make an informed decision. I may decide that you're not it. I had a gentleman tell me something that I was like, ooh, that's kind of deep, but all right. Okay, let me see if I could deal with this. And I think at some point I could have dealt with it, but the Lord came in and he said, Shakema, that's not the one. And I was like, okay. So I said to him, God said no. He's like, oh, you don't think I can lead us spiritually? God said no. God said no. Look, God said no. It's a no for me. God said, Shakema, if y'all get together, you're going to be so enamored with each other, y'all both going to forget about me. I said, oh, Lord, no, ma'am, sir. I don't want anybody that's going to take me away from God. How can they take you away from God and you love the Lord the way you do? My eyes, nose, face can become so wide open for them that I forget about him. And that is not what I'm doing. So I need somebody that's pulling me directly towards the Lord. And if that is not what they are doing, it's not the right person for Shakema. That's just me. Again, finances, intimacy, faith, kids, work, family. Those are some things that I am looking for. I am looking for in a marriage, in a spouse. I'm looking for open ears. I'm looking for words for communication. I'm looking at how they interact with their friends. Do they have friends? And if they don't have friends, why not? The Bible says in order to have friends, you must first make yourself friendly. Why don't you have friends? Where are your friends? Can I meet your friends? I'll host a dinner and all your friends can come. We can backyard barbecue if that makes you feel better. But I'm going to need to see your friends. Are they pet friendly? We're a pet friendly house around here. If they say the dog has to go, I don't know that I can let my dog go for you. We might have to do a little different arrangement for the dog. She may not be able to sleep on the bed no more. Okay, we got that. But put the dog out because you don't like the dog. She was here first. So again, now that Shakema, that seems so petty. I know, I get it. It does seem petty. But there are a lot of people in a lot of situations that come up where we've not chatted this thing all the way through. And I need to chat this thing all the way through. So again, the only person that can make that decision for you is you. I know what I'm willing to deal with and what I'm not willing to deal with. And, you know, that is where it is for me. Whew. Child, listen. I have had a lot going on these last couple weeks. For anybody that has bought the book, thank you so much. I keep getting these messages. I bought the book. I got the book. A friend of mine, Miss Charlene, sent me her picture today. My book came in the same box as Joyce Meyer book. I was like, oh my God. I know it was totally just because she ordered them at the same time. I get it. But I still felt the way. Oh, yay. Thanks, Kim. I'm so glad. Yay. Look. Got my earrings. On. I have worn these earrings every day since they came in the mail. Love them. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, I appreciate any support that y'all give us over here on the channel. That book came from my heart. Really, it did. It was at a tough time. Not tough time, but I was going through some stuff, and God was helping me work out some things. And I'm so very glad that he was. Always love your feedback, positive, or hey, improve here, do something different here. It's always so good to hear that, because then I can improve. I have books 2 and 3 that I am sitting at my new desk. You guys will see this at some point. I'm sitting at my new desk in my new workspace, trying it out to see if I love it. Hey, ma'am, how are y'all? Good to see everybody. But anyway, if you have not purchased the book, that is no problem. It will not hurt my feelings. Life is good. Don't worry. It is for a select few. It is for those who are in a space that need it right now. So I love that. Oh, yay. I love that. Try to jot some notes down. There are places in there where it asks you a couple questions. Just, sit with it and think honestly. Give yourself an honest shot at answering those questions. So anywho, there it is. 2 questions in one. I hope that was helpful. The spouse question, marriage is not to be played with. It's just not to be played with. It is a covenant contract. And let me just say this one thing, because it's important, and then I am going to go. When you marry, especially those of us who have children, my children get very angry with me when I tell them, when I get married, I will always choose my husband over them, because they believe that that themselves should come before a man. Very true. They will come before a man, but they will never come before my husband. My husband and I will make a covenant connection with each other that says, till death do us part. I'm marrying him, not them. My children are going to be grown. They're all going to move away from home and leave me. This man who is going to come into our lives is going to come in for the rest of my life. So my covenant is to my husband. Does that mean I treat my children poorly, or I allow him to treat my children poorly? Of course not. And I would never marry a man that would treat my children poorly, right? Again, that's that data, that's that dating, that's that courtship. We not meeting, we ain't playing Insta family. Me and you gonna get together first, and then we will include everybody else so that we know for sure what we want to do. But your children do not supersede your husband. If you go back to Genesis 2:18-25, and for this shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. It does not say anywhere that you cleave unto your children. I know your children are important. My children are important. But my children are not my covenant connection. My husband is. So that's just a little free nugget. Take it with a grain of salt, however you need to. Anywho, it is time. Yes, it is time for all of God's children to go to bed. I love all y'all. If you liked the video, thumb it up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you guys at the next. The question is, bye now.